I think a lot of younger girls are going through a rough time. Like, I don't know how to, if I was like 15 right now, I will not know how to like deal with all of this like pressure, you know? So
Good evening, Miss Yuna. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Okay,
Better
good.
for sitting with such a talented human being such as yourself.
Thank you.
Um, I listened to the album. It put me in a nice. It did something to my spirit. It was very calm, easy listening. But the theme that was clear is love.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the track listings,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the songs have love in it. Lanes. I like the line when you said, "If this is love, I don't want it. If you got a good girl, appreciate it."
Yeah.
If you can break down to us Lanes and also the recording experience.
Well, I feel like Lanes almost didn't make it onto the album. Yeah, because we wrote that literally like probably 2 days before submitting everything for mixing and mastering, you know. I worked for Lanes, like I worked with Robin Hannibal, and I was over at his house and we were just like, you know, playing around with the recordings that we made before that, like way before that, like months before that meeting happened, like in that session. That was like kind of like the last session that we had together, and so we were listening to Too Close and Best Love, and then he showed me all these other songs that he has. Like, do you like this? Do you want to work on this? And then he showed me Lanes, and the starting of the, you know, like the notes came in. The melody came in like. I was like, oh my god, this is so pretty, and immediately like I was writing a song within like 20 minutes. Like we recorded the rough version of it, and yeah, it almost like didn't make it because it was so like last minute, you know, like we worked on Lanes 2 days before whatever that, you know, like our deadline was, and I went to the studio, recorded it, and it turned out perfect, and it's easily like one of my favorite songs from the album. So yeah.
Funny enough, when I was listening to it, and I still want to talk a bit about Lanes, but what I'll talk to you about afterwards is I felt like All I Do almost felt like the perfect follow-up to Lanes when I was listening to it. How do you see it, the way you sequence the album when you have Lanes in a song like All I Do?
I feel like, you know, for the sequencing of the song, like I didn't really put a lot of, like, I didn't want to overthink it. To me, I just wanted to see like, you know, the flow of the dynamics of it, you know, rather than lyrically like how it should be, because everything is kind of just like it tells about me, like learning about myself, you know, so it's all over the place. I'm pretty much like that, you know, I'm all over the place. So I have one song that talks about best love, I have one song that talks about, you know, being in a relationship but kind of just feel like you don't play a role in the relationship anymore. And then we have All I Do, which is about like, you know, letting go, like how do you let go? And then Lane's pretty much like, oh, you suddenly realizing that this is not for you. So I don't know, like I didn't really kind of just like plan everything because I just wanted it to be kind of like a nice, I want the album to be easy listening, you know, not too heavy and not to like, you know, like obviously when you listen to it, you have to think about the lyrics, but I didn't want it to be too much to think about, you know, they're just music, they're songs, and they're just stories, and you can either relate to them or not, you know, so it should be a fun experience, even though the songs are about kind of like a little bit of a heartbreak, but you know, you should be able to enjoy it.
I mean, it does, picking up on that, it does feel like a story, but it's just not one-sided, because from then you have this Too Close.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like maybe you finish from a relationship, a new guy or new person's in the picture,
Yeah.
and you know, you may still be dealing with the issues of the past.
Yeah.
How do you verbalize Too Close?
I think you're on point there. I think you know my songs better than I do. But yeah, Too Close, I feel like, uh, the theme for Too Close and Best Love, they're very similar, because Best Love tells about a story how you're like, you've known this person for a very long time and you didn't see kind of like the quality that this person has until now, and everything just kind of like makes sense. Like, oh my God, like, it's kind of weird, like, because I'm kind of perfect for you, you're kind of perfect for me. Like, should we really try something here, and Too Close is also kind of like that as well. And it could talk about kind of just like exploring new love. So that's the theme of Too Close. It's just like, like, there's a lyric to it, like, new love. But I didn't really want to put like new love as as a title. So I feel like Too Close is just perfect. And because everything else is just like best love and unrequited love, like I wanted to do kind of like an album that where all the title is just like there's love in every title, but it's just kind of like, to me it's a little bit cliche, so I just wanted, okay, let's just do something a little bit different. And so yeah, I guess Too Close kind of have like a similar vibe to Best Love. It's there's more kind of like you're questioning it a little bit more, like you already know that I like you, so what do we do now, so Too Close is like that.
I did have that nice. I had that I wrote, Best Love, where does it fit in? And it fits in almost like a follow-up to Too Close. I could see how they kind of like spin off each other. But the line I like is, I can find a reason. No, is it, you say something, well, you talk about walking away. I can find a reason to walk away.
But I can't find a reason to walk away. And you keep finding reasons to stay. So,
Exactly,
so I guess there is a bit of like referring to like a real life situation where, it's just, you've known someone for a very long time, and maybe at one point you try to get rid of them, or like this person's trying to get rid of you, but at the end of the day you're still like, oh hey, you just feel like very comfortable with each other, and you're just able to kind of like pick up where you left off, so yeah, I guess it's just kind of like that.
Probably my favorite, well, one of my favorites is Best of Me.
Oh, thank you.
Really,
thank you.
so empowering.
Thank
so
you.
Empowering, and I felt that's the song when I was listening to the album that I thought that a lot of women would connect with. It was really like, you can do it, you can get through it.
Yeah.
What's the experience like actually? You say you're writing a song, you're not thinking too deeply about the lyrics.
Yeah.
But it's coming to you naturally. What kind of emotional output is that for you when you're making such a powerful song?
Actually, I'm really glad that you like that song, because when I was writing it, it was, like I was really confident about it. And then when it came out, I was just like, oh my God, will people get it? Like lyrically, I feel like it wasn't as strong as I want it to be. But at the end of the day, like when you write music, you just don't have to like overthink it. It is what it is, and people will get it eventually. And for me, with Best of Me, like I wanted something that's uplifting but more kind of just like aggressive, and I feel like I've had a lot of songs that are uplifting, and that is pretty much like what I do, and people know me for that with previous albums like Rescue and Live Your Life. But this time around I want it to be more kind of like aggressive, like more of a don't mess with me kind of vibe, and I feel like for this album, this is the time to kind of just like do music like that, do a song that is like that. And yeah, I guess like what I wanted to say in the song is just like, we live in a world, it's very different, it's very weird nowadays, because you are affected by words from strangers, like people who don't know you, and you're most affected by that. And I wanted to write about that, how I feel, and maybe people can relate to me as well. And it's not even like people closest to you, there's like doing all these things that is bringing you down, like you're enabling other people from, just words from the internet, which is kind of like virtual, like almost does not exist, and you're letting that affect you. So I think a lot of younger girls are going through a rough time. Like, I don't know how to, if I was like 15 right now, I will not know how to like deal with all of this like pressure, you know. So I felt like, yeah, maybe I need to like write about this as well. Yeah.
That's a great song, and
Thank
time. I know you discussed the story, but did your sister die of cancer? Was it because I heard some of the lyrics about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How comfortable did you feel about putting that into the actual music?
It was, I don't know, I kind of like, I wrote it. That also almost didn't go into the album because I felt like I was too personal. And I don't know, I was kind of like on the edge about that. I was like maybe not, you know, maybe let's not put it out. It's just a song that I wrote, and my manager convinced me like, no, we have to put it. It's so beautiful, it has meaning, and I'm like, I'm glad I did, you know. It's my mom's favorite song, by the way, because you know I gave her a little shout out. But you know, I wanted to talk about how the kind of like some of the darkest moments in my life, and my mom was there to remind me that everything's gonna be okay. It just takes a little bit time. Just be patient. I think that's the key word that everybody should, you know, really like make that into, you know, their everyday like mantra. Like, be patient, be patient. It takes time, you know, like nothing's gonna happen like what do you call it, overnight. And yeah, I think that was kind of like what I wanted to say, you know, like I, with the sister thing, you know, like I had a cousin who lived with us, and she was practically like my sister. You know, she's not my biological sister, but you know, she lived with us. I grew up with her, and then she had cancer and she passed away. And it was kind of like hard on all of us, like my mom especially. You know, it was hard on her, and with me because I was kind of like young. I was a teenager, but I was kind of a little bit lost in the sense that, oh, I don't have a bigger sister to talk to. Like, who do I talk to about boys now that I finally have like a boyfriend? Like, you know, like what do I do? So how do I deal with like peer pressure from friends? You know, I had nobody to talk to. I can talk to my mom, but it's like, you know, normally like you can't really communicate with your mom that way. But she was always there, you know. It's kind of just like, you know, whatever you're going through, just let time heal it, and you'll be fine. You know? So yeah, this is the new Yuna now, you know. Like I'm no longer like the 20-year-old Yuna with the, you know, scarf and the guitar and just like la 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 la, you know, the ukulele.